Hilchis Sanhedrin v'ein shenam mesurim lehem Perek Asiri. Echad min hadayonim b'dinin nefoshes. Shahoyim min hamazakin ein min hamachayven. Lein mepnei she'amar davar hanira le b'daitei. Elenota achri divri chaverei is areza ever b'leisaseh. Val ze nema lisana al riv lintes mepi hashmua amru shalitemer b'shas minyan dayi she'eik yishpleni elamer mashe b'fornecha. So it's a special lav in din and nefoshes that a person is not allowed to go ahead and paskin based on the fact that someone else paskins. So he says, listen, that person is a big Talmud Chacham, so maybe I'll also be like him. A person, when he paskins, he has to paskin something based on his own understanding, on his own opinion. And if a person paskins based on the fact that someone else paskins, that goes into the lav, Elisana Ariv Lintes. Ubechlal lav zer, included in this lav, Elisana Ariv Lintes, Shaliyachzer Hamalamed Schus Bedin in the Fashes, Lelamed Cheve, Shnema Elisana Ariv Lintes. So a person is not supposed to go away from his original opinion. And that, Chazal Darshan, that it's referring to someone that first had the opinion. In other words, they started the dion. We're talking about not, there's the dion that the dayonim dan amongst themselves, and then when they're oil leminyan, and then they paskin. So here, when they start being dan amongst themselves, so then there are some dayonim that are l'schus and some dayonim are l'cheva, like we learned before, that if there's no dayanim that are being dan l'schus, so then they point to him, because in order to have the tzedek yolim bay that you should spend overnight to be mahapach b'schusei, that's only if there's at least one person that's being mahapach b'schusei. Masha'inkin, if they're all paschu, b'din in the fashis, l'cheva, so there's no one to be mahapach b'schusei. So there's a special din that they have to discuss amongst themselves about this din Torah. So b'shas, when they're discussing among themselves, so if someone started saying l'svara l'schus, and then he changed his mind, and now he's changing it l'cheva, so it could be that the other people that are going to be l'schus will be nistu mutanesov. As we see, someone, he was started off l'schus, and now he's going l'cheva, so that'll create like more of a feeling that you have to go l'cheva, and therefore there's a lav. I mean, that's how it's explained, the siba of the lav, that lesana ariv linte is that a person, when he started being done dinich l'schus, he shouldn't change and being done dinich cheva. Nachmal b'klal lav zer shaliyachzer hamalamed schus, the person that started off being malamed schus b'din nefashas l'lamed cheva shnemo lesana ariv linte. Now b'med var mamurim that he shouldn't change from a schus to cheva b'shas masumatan while they're discussing it. So he shouldn't start being done l'chayva. Avul b'shaz gemar din is, even though originally he was being malamed schus, but lepel he was listening and he was convinced that it's really l'chayva. So then as yesh malamed schus lazer ulhimonis imam b'chayv. Halacha gimel Talmud shahoy mezaka. So now we learned that when the din in the fashas, so only we're going to learn behemshich really that a Talmud, one of the chav that knows there was chav gimel members of the Sanhedrin Ketana, of the Bezdin, and then there was also another 3 rows of Chav Gimel of Talmidim that were also there. And then there's a musik of a Talmud coming and saying an opinion in this Din Torah. So B'negei Din Nefashis, a Talmud can say his opinion only l'schus and not l'cheva. Is Talmud Shahoyim Mezaka. Talmud was saying his opinion l'schus, and Lepel, after he said his opinion l'schus umes. So Royan Oisei Ki'ilu Hu Mezaka B'mkemi. So in other words, even though he's no longer here, but l'chatchila, since he said this svara l'schus, so there's a svara in Gemara that we don't know, maybe he changed his mind. But from that, the Rambam Paskins, not like that, the Rambam Paskins, that Lepel, since he said a svara l'schus, and now he's mess, so he still maintain his svara l'schus, and he's considered an opinion l'schus. Now it's not so clear what is neged, the meaning of the opinion over here. Because Lepel, he's dachnana dayan, and he's not really going to be part of when there's going to come lemaskana to be paskin l'chure if he's l'sakios or chayvus. So the members of the Bezdin are the ones that are mezaka and mechayiv. The fact that he was saying a svara l'schus, the pashtus advarim l'chure, he's not a member of the Sanhedrin. But is such a kasha. The Ravid is going to ask later in the next perik b'negei an avu ben. So there's a musig of that the Rambam is paskening that b'shaz the gemar din is one din, and b'shas the dion is another din. So the Ravid is asking, what kind of minyan is there b'shas hadion? So it's hard. It's not so clear what's this din that Roy Noisei Kulam Zakim came. The Ran in Sanhedrin on this Gemara So he says that it's negeh. If you have a bezdin and then there's 11 and 11, and one of them is saying any idea, so he's saying to svara that if there's a Talmud that's also being mezakeh, so then he's noted that it should be like there's 12 l'schus, and then you don't have to be meisiv shnayim in order to further deliberate on this din. In other words, if there's 11 and 11, it's equal, so then you meisiv shnayim. But l'peil over here, since there's already a Talmud, which is also being noted l'schus, so therefore it's a atoy l'schus, and therefore you don't have to be meisiv shnayim. That's what the Ran says. The Ran says gives other cases, similar cases, where this Talmud is causing that it should be noitel l'schus. My says the Rambam doesn't say this clearly. The Rambam doesn't say it clearly. The Rambam just brings down this din. Talmud shehoyim mizako mes rein esekil mizakbim kemi. What's the negeh this din? It's not so clear. Halacha dalet. Amar echad yesh l'lamet schus. All he said was yesh l'lamet schus. And lepel v'neshtatik ein mes kedim she'lamet schus. So then, as Arizek Mishaini, in other words, if the Talmud was already Melamed Schus, so even though right now he's mess, so as Arizim is Ki'ilu Mizakim came, even though it's not clear to us, well, the guy might have Kimina. But I'll call upon him, if he never really said his opinion, he just said, Yesh Lamed Ol Schus, never got a chance to say it, so then we don't rechnzich what he said. Halacha Hey, Shnayim She'amru Tam Echad, Afilu Mishnei Mikrois, Ein Nimna Ol Be'echad. Now, but pashtus, if let's say two people say one reason, one tam, and they're based on two separate psukim, so the pashtus, only one of the psukim is really the makar for this tam. So in Melis, even though they're both saying it the same thing, but they're saying it from different psukim, so obviously one of them is wrong. So therefore, we only count the two of them as one. We don't know which one is the right, but I'll call upon they can't both be right, and therefore you only count them as one. And therefore, the Ramach, the Ramach asks that Lashon Rambam is afilu mishnei mikros. He's saying that the din is only mishnei mikros. No, shnayim she'amru tam echad mishnei mikros. So then we know that one of the psukim isn't really the makar, because it can't be that there's two mekeres for the same din. So then is ein nimna lu echad. Masha'inkin, if there's two dayanim are both using the same pasuk, so they're both of the same opinion, and that pasuk is right. So memela they can be counted as two dayanim. That's what he asks on the Lashon of afilu mishnei mikros. It should say only mishnei mikros. Shnayim she'amru tam echad mishnei mikros is a nimnan ela be'echad. Halacha vav. Mipi hashmol lamdu she'em maschilin b'dinin nefashis min hagadol. Whereas normally you want to be mechaber the gadol. The gadol is sitting by the dintera, so you want to go to the Reish Sanhedrin. He should say his opinion. But on the other end, over here, we're afraid that if he's going to say his opinion, so then other people aren't going to want to argue with him, because Shema Yisbuch Hashar al Daite, V'leyiru Atzmum Kedai Lach Lekolov, Eliyemer Kolecha Davar Anir Lebidaita. We learned before that there's a lav, Lisan al Riv Lintes, that you're not allowed to base yourself on someone else's opinion. So therefore, you don't go ahead to the Gadol Tchila. It doesn't say you start from the cotton. The Rambam doesn't say you start from the cotton, but this idea to start from the Gadol, you don't start from the Gadol. Because Lepil, you don't want to cause that people should go ahead and base their opinion on what the Gadol said. V'chein, nachadin, that ain't poischin bedinin nechfashes l'choy ve'ele l'schus. What does that mean, Ketzad? Eimim l'zeh shechata, whereas once the Eidim say their Eidus, and Lepil, now they're starting the diun, whether he's chayiv misa or not, so they tell them, Imle asisa davar zeh she'idu bei alecha al tirim devrei. Whereas they want to me'oided him. In other words, he should know that Lepel, if Aliba Damas, he didn't do what they're saying he did, so he shouldn't worry, because Lepel will find the right schus for him. That's how you have to be me'oided him. So that's how, you don't start off and saying if he did it, he's going to be chayiv misa. Fakert, you tell him, Im le'asisu davar zeh she'idu bei alecha, so then I'll tell him a devrei. Halacha ches. Amar echad min ha-talmidim b'din nefashis, yesh li l'lamed olav cheva. So in other words, there's a bezdin, and then we said there's the talmidim, which was the rows of the 23 talmidim, and one of those talmidim said that I have a psasvara l'lamed olav cheva. So the din is mishatkenis. You're not mitzarefim. You don't let him say his opinion l'cheva. However, Amar yesh li l'lamed olav schus. So then is Mailan Esei Moim the Sanhedrin. They bring him into the Sanhedrin, whereas they should become part of the Sanhedrin in order to be done with them. Im yesh bedvarav mamish sheimim loy ve'iniyered misham le'elam. So they bring the Meiri says that iniyered misham le'elam doesn't mean he becomes a chaver of Sanhedrin. It means until they finish the dion on this din teira iniyered misham le'elam. However, v'me'eman mamish bedvarav, is ein yered misham kol hayom kula. You don't stay with him throughout the dion on this din Torah, but kol hayom kula, he's there, he remains in the Sanhedrin. Because if he's gonna come, and then he's gonna say something, it'll be realized that ain't be mamish, so it'll be, and you'll put him down, so he'll be embarrassed. So we will be afraid to come. We want to encourage that if there's other Talmidim that know a schus for this person that they're being done, we're looking more for a schus than a cheva. So if the Talmud comes and he says he has a svara l'cheva, so we don't listen to him b'chlal. If he says he has a svara l'schus, we listen to him. And if lepel his schus is ein mamish, so we don't right away put him down, because lepel, if we put him down, so then Talmidim will be discouraged of saying yesh li schus. ואין ממש בדברו ואין ילד משום כל היום כולו ואפילו אומר הניד נעצמי יש לי ללמד לעצמי זכוס שם לי and ve'elu leminyan. Now again over here it's saying oil leminyan. You have to know what kind of minyan is it. Whereas l'churi, he's certainly not from the minyan hadayonim. Whereas later on, eventually, when they'll paskin about his whether he's chayiv misa or not, so obviously this nidon, this person is not oil leminyan. So again, it's not so clear what's this oil leminyan. V'hu shiyeh b'dvarav mamash. The Rashash in Sanhedrin Daf Mem says Taka that it's a toys atfus over here. He says that it's this idea that it says Eil Laminion doesn't belong here, it belongs by the Talmud, which was Mizaka, and then he's Eil Laminion. Also you have to understand what's Eil Laminion. But he's saying that these words Eil Laminion really doesn't belong over here. It belongs earlier when the Talmidim are, a Talmud can't be Eil L'schus, L'chayva, but he's only Eil L'schus, and they're done with him, and the pale, he's oil aluminium in the mezakim. Halacha tes. Bezn sheto b'dini nefashos, and v'chiev was hapoter, and v'gomru dini lahariga, so there was already a gmar din, and now the v'nira lehem hatam sheistra be'ez dinei, kedei lezakese, and now they realize that there's really a svara lezakese. They already had a psak din, there was already a gmar din, and now they realize that there's a svara lezakese. So the din is soisrin, the choizim v'don. See, it's even though the bezin already paskent, we don't worry about zilusa the beidina. So the person's going to be killed if he's not really rightfully to be killed. And memela, so the soisrim is dinei, and then the choizim v'don. That's talking about if they paskent l'choiva, and now they realize that there's a svara l'schus. Aval fakert in to potru samechoy variga. So then as ein seishin is dinei, ein machzir neisei. So then, once he was Yotzeb Zakai, so therefore, ein seishin is dinei. B'medvar mamurim that we say that if he was Yotzeb Zakai, ein seishin is dinei, b'shato b'davar shein atzduka meidem bei. In other words, they made a mistake about something, so be'amis it wasn't such a often a zach, because it's davar shein atzduka meidem bei, it's more of a teresh peh, and therefore, so there was a psak din already, that he was Zakai, and they're not machzirim l'cheva. Avum to b'davar she'atzduka meidem bei. If the mistake was that they were mizakim about something that atzdukim is made in bay, so then it's machzir neisel lecheva, because lepeil, since it's a davar atzdukim made in bay, it's mechatchila not considered a psak din. No, it's not the whole idea that they paskin in lischus. If it's a davar atzdukim made in bay, that's not considered a psak din. Ketzad amru habala erva shlei kedarka potter. That's what they paskin, and therefore patru, and based on that psak din, they will patru. Now the din is lepel that says mishkve isha is malamed shesh te mishkaves beisha that a bia shalei kedarka is also considered a bia. So the male is machzir nese umamis nese. That's talking about if they said bechlal that shalei kedarka is bechlal potter. Avum omru hama'ara shalei kedarka that hara shalei kedarka is potter upatru. So that's a machzir nese because that's already considered teresh malpeh. So therefore there was a psak, even though it was not a real psak, it wasn't a right psak. But on the other hand, it's considered that there was a psak that the person is zakai, and then there's ein machzirin bei, v'chein kol ki